You are now watching Animal Expedition Files.
Wake up with your favorite station. Online, digital, and on your smartphone.
It's time for your favorite host.
Yeah. Is this mic on? Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Animal Expedition Files. I almost forgot my name real quick. My show's name. You get one of those days where everything is going crazy at once, and then some things don't want to work. Hey, Damien, what's up, brother, up there in Scotland? Love you, brother. I'm happy you're watching. I know it's morning time there, and it's nighttime here in Florida. The only place where it gets hot and you have hurricanes and things blow away. So welcome here on another amazing show. We got Mike Tinsley in the background. We're going to talk about all things Bigfoot and about his amazing documentary that's coming. Please like and subscribe. Please. I just want to say this. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel up, and if you guys could go up there and show some love and subscribe to the channel at Animal Expedition Files, I would really appreciate that, and give you a virtual hug if I can. I don't know. If you could see me give you a virtual hug, that'd be cool. Thanks. Hearts for everybody. Love you all. But thank you everybody for watching this show. Everybody in the comment room, please ask Mike a bunch of questions as much as you can, because we love your questions, and we couldn't do this show without you guys. And usually we have a lot of conspiracy theory news before you today, but today I don't have any conspiracy theories. Today I am going to talk to you a little bit and get a little serious with you. I did work on a documentary called Through Hell and Back I would say about a couple of years ago, but it's about people going through suicidal tendencies and going through life and trying to get out of those suicide thoughts. And it was a crazy time doing those documentaries, because it was talking to a lot of people that went through a lot of hard times, lost people, and trying to get out of that and to come into a positive life where they didn't want to commit suicide. So I wanted to show you a little trailer of my documentary. Check it out. You can actually see a clip of I made them in smaller segments. I have a longer version that I'm going to release pretty soon on Dark Realm TV, but I'm going to share here a little trailer here. And you can, if you go on Dark Realm TV, it's only $4.99 a month. Check it out. It's really cool on Dark Realm TV on the Roku and the Amazon Fire Stick. But check out this little clip.
All right. So my name is Dustin Lawrence. I am 39 years old. I'm married, have a couple kids, and I'm diagnosed with major depressive disorder, MDD, with generalized anxiety and ADHD.
Get to work on Tuesday morning. I'm at my desk, and my wife had a routine. She's 6 months pregnant. Routine checkup, and she called me, and she told me that I needed to come over to where she was, and that they couldn't find a heartbeat.
And that I can be there for all of her daughters. Because I really miss them.
Yeah, if you please go check that out at if you're going through a lot of problems through hell and back, please go to Dark Realm TV and check that out, a clip through hell and back. It's the stories are unreal, and just it breaks my heart just what people have been through. But we're gonna be of all that, we're gonna be talking about some Bigfoot stuff, and we're gonna bring Mike here onto the show here, and we're gonna be having some fun, making fun of people, and causing some trouble like we usually do. So let's bring Mike on here real quick.
Hey, what's up?
Brother, what's
up, Animal?
What's up?
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man. What a day. It's Wednesday. It's a new day. Well, new night. And I'm drinking my coffee. I don't know if you can see Bigfoot. See,
oh, there you go.
Talking about Bigfoot, and we're, get it? See, Bigfoot, you know? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about half of the time, but we're here to have fun, people. So, damn it, we're going to have fun. But anyways, how's it going, brother? How you doing?
Hey, it's going. I had the day off. Been working on episode 2 all day, and reliving those moments. It's crazy when you go back through stuff and just relive those moments again. And the things that, we've gone through and learned making this documentary, it's been crazy. So yeah, other than that, I go back to work tomorrow, finish out the weekend, probably start landscape season next week or the week after. So time to get back at it and make some money.
Yep. That's the one thing about Florida. It never stops here in Florida. It's like landscape 24/7.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jean? How's it going? Jean is awesome. She was on my show not too long ago.
Oh, Jean. Hey, how you doing, Jean?
Yeah. So, Mike, what's up? What's going on with you? First thing, let's usually what I ask my guests is tell us a little bit about yourself and how'd you start this journey out?
So I recently turned 50. Well, about a year ago, I turned 50. So my philosophy became 50 is the new 30. Starting with that, I decided to just go and just put myself out there. And I started a media company with my son-in-law. So we've done all kinds of things. And one of the things for content we started talking about making was Bigfoot content.
Yeah.
As well as a lot of other things. So we started putting up, pieces together on, these different projects, and the Bigfoot thing started to kind of fall together really nicely. A lifelong friend of mine I've known since I was a kid runs New Hampshire Bigfoot Society, and he's done investigations, forever. He's always been into it.
Yeah.
So I kind of teamed up with him, a couple guys from Western New England, Penford Media, Adam and Zach. We went to Whitehall, and I really didn't know much about Bigfoot and the stories. And when I got there, it was like going to a church revival in a way. It was like people were just opening up, telling stories, and the town itself, the whole community, the whole festival was inviting, and we had a blast. And we came back. From that, I decided I was all in. We made some documentaries with Penford Media. They did pretty well on YouTube, and then just started getting into stuff in New Hampshire Bigfoot Society. Decided that we wanted to start, doing investigations. Because the way I started this was I've never had a Bigfoot encounter, but I've talked to people that I trust and I know, and the people that I meet, and it changes their lives. So yeah. I want to get to the bottom of these stories, these legends, and see what's there, and see if we can't find have our own encounter. and trying to find the best place to do it and who's closest and what's going on. So we kind of decided to go all in and do investigations, and we kind of crossed paths with the BFRO and some other groups, and shit hit the fan. And so
That's awesome.
we had to decide where we were going with this thing. And so that was kind of even episode 1, that's where we kind of left off, was crap was starting to get haywire, and we didn't know what we were getting into. We thought Bigfoot was about peace, love, and happiness, and little did we know that's not what it's always about.
Nope.
Not at all.
No, you never know what Bigfoot. It's always a surprise.
And I've heard those stories from people. When I first got into it, it was kind of weird. I met Ronnie LeBlanc at a trade show. I knew who he was. I really didn't watch the shows a lot. I was familiar with him. I think I watched most of them, but I didn't watch through all the seasons. And it was kind of a side thing. With me and my wife, she'd always buy me like stickers, like coffee mugs and stuff. And so Bigfoot was always, a vibe, right? I ended up meeting Ronnie LeBlanc at a trade show, and I posted a picture in our group, and then people started attacking me for being like a big media, bringing people into it. And it's like, whoa, we're just locals, with a couple cameras and just a good heart to try to tell some stories and whatnot. And that's when I realized that the people in New England, especially, are divided on a lot of Bigfoot, and the community wasn't all on the same page. And like I said, it wasn't peace, love, and happiness. So we knew that we had to just kind of take a step back and be careful who we were talking to, how we were telling stories, and how we interacted. And it started in Henniker, and that's where we left off with episode 1. It's been a crazy ride.
Have it, like, in your journey of Bigfoot, have you come across like any evidence of like tree structures and Bigfoot prints? Like, even during this like documentary, we're gonna show a little clip here real quick and talk about it. But have you ever come across any of that?
I came across some stuff that I wasn't sure what it was. I bring it back and I kind of dig a little deeper. Some things that were like tree structures. I talked to a few people about that. There's a lot of guys that are really into the tree structures.
Yeah.
And I know different parts of New England have different climates and different things kind of going on. So it's hard to kind of narrow that down. I had some barred owl calls that kind of shook me in the moment. Didn't know what they were, the way they kind of echoed through the woods, or at least I believe they're barred owl. I just talked to somebody recently who suggested that maybe we should relook at some of that stuff, because Bigfoots may mimic the owl calls. So that's something I'm going to look at here in the future. But stuff like that, I've heard a few tree knocks, and then just they catch your attention and then go away. So I haven't found any footprints myself, or any really conclusive evidence that I haven't debunked or thrown out there to ask other people what they think yet. But we're looking. We've been kind of on the hunt, trying to find that hot spot. I haven't narrowed down a hot spot yet, but I got a lot of promising areas to go looking at. And that's kind of the next step for us too, is to for me anyway, is to get really deep into investigation, looking for that detailed evidence. Actually, I just got a tip yesterday that somebody doesn't want to really share it or be out, but they claim that they have hair. They have some hair, and I'm gonna see how that.
It's not my hair.
I don't know. We'll see. But that's gonna be an interest.
It'll be Richie's hair, because he just knocked on I think it's Richie B's hair. You never know, that crazy animal.
So yeah, I'm interested to see kind of how that goes. And but I haven't found my own evidence yet, and that's what I'm kind of looking for, is find something cool. That way we know we're on the right track.
Yeah. I want Damien here from Scotland One to ask you: did any evidence point towards something other than a sassy and thought this is unknown?
So in northern New Hampshire, in Coos County, there's a creature or cryptid known as the Woods Devil. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. There's varying accounts of this thing. If you look on the New Hampshire Parks and Recreation, I actually just found it today. They have their own little write-up on it. You talked to Alex Petticoff from Small Town Monsters, and he thinks it's a Bigfoot-related type thing. I talked to my partner, my buddy over at New Hampshire Bigfoot Society, and he thinks it's a separate kind of entity. So Woods Devils are something that are kind of there. There's reports, and their characteristics are a lot different than a Bigfoot. And I also get Dogman reports, which sound similar to some of the Dogman accounts, to some of the Woods Devil accounts, but the hiding behind the trees is a common trait between, I think, most Bigfoot, Woods Devils, and even Dogmen. But the Dogmen, from what I've figured so far, tend to, especially if they're actively hunting, they're going to kind of surround you. Especially if there's more than one, they're going to pack hunt or try to do that type of thing. And most likely be aggressive unless they're just kind of checking you out. I did get a report from a hunter in northern New Hampshire recently in the fall. He was in a tree stand, and he saw something kind of coming through. It was just before it got dark. He had about a half hour illegal shooting left and light. He was in his tree stand bow hunting, and he saw a tall figure, about 7 feet tall, broad shoulders, thin hips. He said it had pointed ears, was kind of watching him from behind the tree. Yeah. And he kind of waited, and he called out, and it still seemed to kind of just stay hidden, and it kind of circled him. And if you're in a tree stand, you're kind of limited. The idea to put a tree stand is have a good field of view, but you can't really see behind you because you're sitting on back to a tree. So he got really spooked. He called out, I got a handgun. I'm not afraid to use it, and nothing happened. He said nothing happened with it until he shined his flashlight on it. He got to the ground, and it kind of took off. And he said when he hit the ground coming out of his tree stand, he was wondering what was going to happen. He was kind of, afraid that he wasn't even going to touch the ground because this thing was going to come and swoop him away. But he made it out. He did go back a few days later in the daytime. He said something seemed off, and he reassured me too that he wasn't a stranger to the woods, and he wasn't a little guy. I guess he practiced martial arts and stuff too, and he felt like whatever it was something that he probably couldn't take on his own. No, yeah, that kind of went cold. Winter came. A lot of hunters came through the area. We had a local researcher up there, investigator, checking some stuff out, and he had a sighting himself. His account was a little different than this guy. So to answer that question, one of my things I'm kind of working on now is correlation between, some of these Bigfoot sightings, Woods Devil sightings, and Dogmen. Sometimes they act similar, sometimes they act differently, and how much of that is individual traits, like me to you, we're going to act differently in different situations. Some creatures or humans might be, defensive and aggressive before they are, just want to sneak away. So obviously more research and more just listening to stories to try to put those things together. I guess it's all it's going to take, just more time and more stories. And yeah, we find scientific evidence, and then, we can confirm it. But until then, we have to kind of even sort through some of the stories that are real, some of the stories that aren't real. So there's a lot of work, and that's what makes it fun, because it's always interesting. Yeah. You got to be skeptical, but being cynical about any of it is actually, it's kind of toxic. So being skeptical is a good way to be, right? But when you get cynical about it, that's when we've seen some of that toxicity come out.
Yeah, the Dogman lore is pretty interesting. I've been kind of getting more into that lately because we've kind of me and my good friend out there that scuba dived together, we kind of came across like a Dogman figure when we were filming at night. Me and him and his wife were filming, and we saw this huge creature that had the same thing you were describing, had the pointy ears and tall and just like really like buff, and it was a weird looking creature. But the weird part is like it disappeared so quick into the wood, and a lot of people like I'm kind of wondering like this lore of the dog man, could it be Skinwalker, because it goes so fast and it disappears, and it pretty much like changes like in a way if you think about it. Like there's been instances where it could change into a different thing or a different animal. People have kind of pointed, but yeah, it's I don't know. What's your thoughts about that?
So actually, I just last week I got a message from somebody that I've known. It's actually one of my younger sister's friends that she grew up with, in elementary school, and she said that I think it was last fall. You guys had a hurricane. She lives in Florida, and she was driving through, I think it was Ocala State Park, and she saw what she said was like a werewolf coming out of the woods on 2 feet, and saw the car at the last second, got on all fours and bolted. She said she kind of kept it in and didn't know who to tell. And she realized that, I've been up to this stuff. She felt comfortable to talk to me about it. And I said, you're not alone. People have these sites and it's changing their lives. So what it is, we don't know yet, but, I haven't really bit off some of the, Skinwalker things yet. Like I said, I'm kind of new to a lot of this stuff other than just being an enthusiast of mystery and the unknown and stuff. My background is with horticulture and landscaping. I was in the Army for a few years. I learned a lot about land navigation and terrain and stuff like that. And I'm an avid hunter, outdoorsman, forager, that type of stuff. So I love the outdoors, like reading terrain, like just knowing what everything is. So that's where I kind of base my perspective when it comes to any of this stuff, because it's what I know. It's what I can see. It's what I can smell, taste, touch, and hear. I haven't gone looking for some of the other things, because if they're there and they're that scary the way people tell me, I really don't want to know about it. If ignorance is bliss, I'll leave it there for a minute. But
Yeah.
I live in an old house. It's 135 years old, and my youngest daughter won't move back, and she doesn't like spending too much time. She thinks it's haunted, and I'm pretty sure the neighborhood is haunted. We got an old cemetery across the street, and an old used to be an old inn across the street from where I live now. It was built in like 1802 or something, and then through the years, there's a lot of creepy history in it. But if there are ghosts here, I'm not paying attention to them, or I'm just being a little bolder and louder than they are, so that later on down.
You're like, hey, Mike, what's up?
Yeah. There was actually just a couple weeks ago. We're working on our project, putting all our stuff together, and we got like a year and a half's worth of stuff we're going through and trying to tell the story of in Man Ape Among Us. So me and my son-in-law are up here. We got a room, a couple computers. We got our own workstation set up, and we're going to town. And I come up, start working on stuff, and I took his hard drive, downloaded some stuff from the down live, and I could have sworn he walked right behind me, kind of right behind where you see me now, over to his workstation, which is right to my left. And I grabbed it. I turned around, only to realize that he wasn't there. I'm getting goosebumps just kind of talking about it. I heard somebody come up the stairs. I felt a presence walk behind me. Okay, he did. I called for him. I'm like, what happened? He come up the stairs and said, no, I'm just getting to the top of the stairs. It wasn't me. He came in, he sat down. We started going through our projects, and both of the computers started going haywire. We got the same computer running the same program, just different, projects open. And it was crazy. We lost files. We lost programs. A lot of hours and hours and hours of work was lost. And then once we recovered, none of that stuff happened again. So,
man,
I don't want to know. That's, but I asked my wife if we should bring in a team to do an investigation, check out the neighborhood, dig a little deeper. Historical Society's right next door. There's a lot of old stories in this old town. It was established in 1727. So, this is an old neck of the woods. New Hampshire and southern New England, coastal New England, is pretty old. So there's a lot of tales and a lot of mystery and a lot of folklore. One of my favorite stories from the area is the Hannah Dustin story. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
No.
Hannah Dustin was like a 40-something-year-old mother of 8. I believe it was 8. From Haverhill, Massachusetts. Lived on a farm, and it was it was in the late 1600s, like 1692 or something like that. Right after the King Philip's War, so there's a lot of animosity between the settlers and the natives. The natives raided the village, the farm, and the house, kidnapped her and her newborn baby, took her up the Merrimack River. Along the way, the baby, along with others in the town, an old man, I think some young kids, and a few other people. Her baby wouldn't stop crying. The natives crushed the baby's skull with a rock and left it to die in the woods. They took Hannah with the others to a place just north of Concord. There's a memorial there now. And while she earned their trust for a little bit, and while they slept one night, she killed them and scalped them all and made it back to the settlement. And she told her story, and she became kind of famous. And but there's a lot of controversy, of course, with cultural sensitivities and that stuff lately. So the statue's vandalized. The one in Haverhill, they have one in Boscawen, New Hampshire, which has been vandalized. There's one down at that was down in Haverhill, Mass, and they were moved to private locations. So it's an interesting story. And those are the type of stories that people haven't heard, but they've really influenced a lot of early culture. These stories from the 1600s, 1700s. So those are some of those rabbit holes that I might go into after the Bigfoot thing. But right now, the Bigfoot thing we think it's here in southern New Hampshire, and we're going to have to I want to put an A-team together, and that's what we're kind of working on now, is just putting an A-team together to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, Richie was saying you should be able to bring your lunchbox and come and hang out with Richie B and Wojo and come to the Triangle.
Oh yeah, I got to get down to the Triangle, but when I go down there, I got to make sure I have cameras rolling and charged batteries, because those guys are a hoot, and who knows what's going to happen, and I don't want to miss a thing.
On top of each other. But Damien, I was going to ask you a question. Would you say that because you're seeing more and more open to your sense, you're more aware of it, or have you changed it yourself and that's why you experience more?
A little bit of, as far as the paranormal goes, when I was a kid, I lived in an old house in the attic room. It was refinished, and I heard a lot of creepy stuff. I used to hide under the covers. So I learned early to just block it out. And maybe I am becoming more opening and more accepting that the stuff's there, as opposed to just being, stiff-browed and, don't F with me. You know what I mean? That's kind of an attitude I've had most of my life. And now I'm being a lot more open to a lot of things, listening to people's stories, because I haven't had a Bigfoot encounter, but, I'm going in the same woods that I'm hearing stories of people. So there's a lot of theories why that is, but I think I'm definitely open to a lot of things now. And it's just, once the doors are open, it's like a floodgate. It's like a whole new universe. It's a whole new world. And I followed, conspiracy theories for a little bit. I actually, one of the reasons why I wanted to get into Bigfoot was because I didn't think it was going to end me up on an FBI watch list. Because
what?
Well, some of the stuff that I was going down the rabbit hole beforehand, before Bigfoot, I was going some places where, I had to definitely be careful of who we were talking to and associating with, and didn't know who to trust. I actually thought Bigfoot was going to be a lot safer than that until, if you've seen episode 1, you realize quickly by the end of it that's not peachy and keen and all cut and dry. So
the government's involved with Bigfoot, anything cryptid. Trust me, it's nuts, man.
Well, it makes you wonder. I mean, people's reaction, the way people react to things, the way threats come across, the way, and also the other way, the other side of it too, where when people know that you're being pressured, how they're willing to help you because they understand exactly what you're going through. I think that was something that we learned was there's something really going on. It's not just a conspiracy theory with Bigfoot. There's more things to the layer. Sometimes it's the bigger the establishment, bigger the group name, the more recognizable are the ones that you got to watch the most out for. And you got to tread lightly with even some of the smaller groups, and make sure that, you're playing with the right people, because some people bring guns to the woods and you don't know who to trust, and it's life or death. It really is.
Yeah. I love the woods.
I do too. I'm most comfortable in the woods.
I could sleep in the woods.
Yeah.
That's where I could just relax and just get my quiet time.
Well, that's it. Every once in a while, it's been winter here. It's been winter here, so now the snow's melting and everything's kind of
calming down.
Yeah, calming down. It's soggy, so I haven't quite been out in the woods yet.
Yeah.
But it's nice to just sit on a creek bank, the side of a river, just listen to it crackle, taking some fresh air, get the sun on your face, and it's Kelly, my buddy. Yeah, we don't scare easy.
He wants to come and investigate your house. He said he got the equipment.
Let's go. Just don't tell the wife. She'll
just don't tell the wife.
She'll think we'll stir something up, and that's why she don't want anything to do with it. But
oh man, well I want to show a little clip here about your documentary.
All right, cool.
It's a really great documentary. And then after that, I have a question for you about tree structures, because I think tree structures, in this day of age, people see them all over the place, especially Bigfooting and all the crazy weird things. I just saw a video about this one weird tree that was wrapped up like a wreath out in the middle of nowhere in the woods where nobody should be.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk a little bit about that, but let's share this video first.
Are we seeing more Bigfoot? No, but we are seeing an increase in Bigfoot hunters, so they're seeing more Bigfoot.
Where's the body? Where's Bigfoot's body? You want the real answer?
Yeah. Show me Bigfoot. Show me your evidence.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk.
And we're back. If you haven't checked the first episode, go check it on Mike Tinsley's
Chaos Theater Productions on YouTube. You can find us there, and that's where we'll be putting all this Man Ape Among Us, all these episodes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And what that one guy was saying, there's more Bigfoot hunters out there than there used to be, because Bigfoot has been kind of like the talk of the town now lately. A lot of Bigfoots, especially with UFOs. Now that all that whole crazy thing has been let out,
right.
The government and all that stuff, and now Bigfoot, and people are seeing more sightings and stuff like that, but not just all over the world. It's nuts where all these sightings are coming out. It's like Bigfoot's I'm ready to come out, But let's talk a little bit before we get on tree structures. Let's talk a little bit about your venture with this documentary and how it came about.
So we just recorded what happened. We just documented everything that happened, from our trips to events, to our investigations, to some of the after events after some of these things, and just kind of put a story together. It's hard when, everything that we've done, what story to tell, what's the most compelling storyline in all this. And at the end of the day, our story is about community. It's about this type of spirituality of Bigfoot in itself. And I'm not so much talking about like a spirit coming through a dimensional wall or a crack in the time space continuum, but just a spirituality that connects us. You talk to a guy like, Richie B, who's so passionate about and why he's gotten into it and why he doesn't care that he talks about Bigfoot, and when you talk to people who have had these encounters and it changes their life forever, it changes their whole perception of what it is that they see. You realize it's, for me, it was realizing that there's more to the story. There's something deeper than you're going to get on, a long drawn out, Bigfoot documentary. And that's what we wanted to do too, is create something different than what everybody else had going on. Yeah. I tried putting together some of the long segments of, field trips or expeditions or investigation, and to watch them back for information, I guess, is healthy. It's good. But when you want to try to show people what happened, people don't really want to sit through 45 minutes of like shaky, cell phone footage or camcorder footage or GoPro, stuff that's not really. So how do we tell that story? We kind of step back to tell a story, that the story as a whole. So yeah, we go to Whitehall, we go to Henniker, we go to Portland, which is the next episode. We go to Portland, talk to Lauren Coleman. He had the International Cryptozoology Museum, a few others, local group up there, Maine Bigfoot Foundation. And we talked to Alex Petikoff about some local folklore in New Hampshire. And then we start putting a community together. We had some fallout with some people and each other. So we decided to just kind of follow through and make, put the pieces back together of what had kind of fallen apart after episode 1 here, as you'll see going into episode 2. And building a community so that everybody's tight again. Everybody's in a good spot. And, that's the stuff that we know now, but you'll have to watch through the episodes to get there. And I hope that we take you through that roller coaster ride and some of the drama. It's not the housewives of Bigfooting in New England, but it's, this stuff that, that we, it's part of the story. It's part of the growth. Richie and I talked about it on his podcast, where some of the back and forth that him and I had was kind of made us both feel uneasy about what we were both trying to accomplish in New England. And we put that stuff aside. We ended up meeting at an event here in New Hampshire. And we just stayed in touch and, interacted and I think we're all in a good spot right now. He's got some really big ideas. We're going out to the Cobble Mountain Critter Fest in June. We're going to go to back to Charming Fair Farm in New Hampshire. We're trying to plan some other events. And outside of New England, I've been talking to some people, doing some events for myself or with Chaos Theater or with New Hampshire Bigfoot Society. So we got a lot of stuff going on. And we just wanted to tell that story of all of it, and through a documentary. So that's what we're trying to do. Keep it different, but keep it fresh, keep it interesting, relatable. So if you're an enthusiast from the outside looking in, or if you're a Bigfoot group, or you're an enthusiast or a researcher yourself, you can kind of get a feel of what the community's like. We talk to event organizers. We talk to all, as many people as we possibly can about Bigfoot and the Bigfoot cryptid community. And yeah, we tried to roll it into one the best way we could, and hopefully it comes out that way.
Yeah, that's especially the drama you were talking about. Like, as soon as I saw that trailer again, like, I want to see a dead body. Like, it just it hooked me in, and like, I just can't. When can we see the second part?
It's going to come out Saturday. Probably around 8:30, I think, is what we scheduled for. So yeah, that second part will be out then, and we're not sure how many episodes we're going to end up doing. Definitely 3, but I'm thinking it might be 4. We can take a couple stories and kind of really break those down and tell those a little better, or a little deeper. And I think it will fit right into what we're doing, to kind of also give the viewer something different each episode, so it's not always the same thing. It's a little something different. So yeah, it's new to us. It's the first time I ever tried to do anything remotely this kind of complicated. So many videos from my cell phone, from multiple cameras, trying to put everything together, make it work. I've learned a lot about editing. I've learned a lot about all this stuff in this short time. So yeah, I'm trying to, like I said, just trying to capture all of it and tell that story.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to talk to you about tree structures. Tree structures in today's society is a big thing in Bigfoot hunting, especially like you see it on all these shows, Expedition, Bigfoot, and all the the Bigfoot shows. It's weird because like these tree structures, like it's not normal, and a lot of people are saying like, oh, is it made from a bear? Is it made from a different animal? I get a lot of people say it could be UFO. There's a lot of theories about those tree structures. What's your theory about the tree structures out there that everybody sees in those woods?
I think there's definitely interesting stuff that just doesn't make sense. Finding stuff that you can't, you stand there and look at it, and it doesn't make sense. I know Richie has a lot of crazy stuff down to where he is. Here, a little further up in New England, we have, a little heavier snow, a little different terrain.
Yeah.
There's some spots where tree structures make sense, like pulled over into a hut in a like a den type thing, and also for like marking trails. That's something I think I want to look for more up here. Here, I think as far as shelter, I think where I'm at, I'm wondering if it's a little more, they may find a den or some sort of cutout. It's a lot hillier and rockier up here than it is, say, in southern Massachusetts. But I'm definitely interested to learn more about different signs of like territorial markers, for instance. I know bears will do that too. They'll scratch a tree. So there's a lot of sign out there and a lot of things that that are there for a reason. It's unknown. Richie can't wait to get me down there to show me a lot of the stuff that he has, and I'm interested too because I've tried breaking stuff down with him. Wanting to know, for me, I want to know what type of tree it is, what kind of soil it's growing in, because that's the horticulturalist and the landscaper in me, right? Being familiar with all those native species or species that are different, that have different characteristics. I think that's important to kind of just separate it out. Because my theory in any of this is just take what you know, figure out what you know, and what you can, 100%, and just cross it off the list and start whittling it down to, all right, what are you left with? These absolutes that you can't explain. So when it comes to tree structures, it's hard to read them on like a picture. So I get a lot of that stuff. People send me pictures, and it's hard to read without being there to kind of witness what it's doing, the context of it. And that's one thing Richie says too with that is context. It's all relevant. Hey,
that's what I say. Very good. Somebody's listening finally. Thank you. What's up, bro?
Oh man.
That was a perfect segue. Animal's like, we gotta wait a minute. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's talking about it. Good to see that you're listening, Mike. I love it because
of course, brother.
We all can get stuff from each other, no matter what level, what we want to do in this environment. Right. You know what I mean? Where you're not only interested in being an investigator and getting out there and getting more knowledge, boots on the ground, right? But you're also bringing something else to the game, bringing something else to the New England, as we've talked about many times, right?
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see it, because if we all just bring a little bit of what you just talked about and left out the the cynical shit that we talked about, we're going to learn so much. And that's what we're trying to do together at Animal. This is what we discussed and what we've been wanting to do. And like I always kid about with Mike about how when we first met, we were sitting on the what was it, StreamYard at the time.
Yeah.
Like two little schoolgirls, like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Oh my God, you got great ideas too. And
yeah.
I'm over here clipping my toes, and I got my little onesie on. You know what I mean? So yeah, we were enjoying those talks, and and of course we hit a little bump, but that we worked it out like men. You know, and we put the New England region and the study of Bigfoot beyond that, and helped us come together. You know, and Mike's a friend of mine, and I love Mike. I love his ideas. I love what he's got going on. And if you don't mind, you brought up Charm and Fear Farm. Can I just make a quick announcement on your show, Animal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
What am I doing?
Yeah. Hey, Animal, F you. Mike said I could.
I'm sorry, man.
Wait, do I see this right? Do I see this right?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Animal Expedition Files with Richie B and Mike Tinsley.
Am I seeing Richie B without a hat? Does he actually have hair? Richie has hair.
I got cheddar.
This is the first time I've seen Richie with hair. He's always wearing a hat.
I got all kinds of cheddar going, man. I can't type in the chat. I guess I got blocked off from doing that. I wouldn't trust me either. But everybody's out there. Thank you, and good to see everybody. Damien, everybody. Icy Spirits. Look at all the people, man. Well, I see Wojo commented a little bit earlier. Kelly Porter. Wow, you got the crew in the house. Damien from Edinburgh, Scotland.
Yeah.
Terrible accent. But So just today, I got off the phone with Linda from Charm and Fair Farm, and we have officially agreed that I would be the MC and host of the Charm and Fair Farm Bigfoot Festival.
That's awesome.
So I am the guy to go to if you have any questions, anything at all about that. We're working together. I'm going to go out there and do a walk around. And not only that, Mr. Tinsley, I know it's your busy season. I got that, but I'm going to throw plenty of notice your way. The Thursday before, I have full reign of the farm.
Okay.
Overnight out by the Maple Shack.
Oh,
Me and you and our onesies and toe clippers. All right. And Kelly Porter or whoever else wants to come can stay overnight, and we can do an on-site investigation before the fair starts.
Okay.
Hi, Icy Spirits. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to get the word out to whoever can make it. Kelly Porter and
I'm local anyway. I'm only a half hour away
if you just came over for a couple hours before you had to go back out, go home, go to work, you know what I mean, the next day. So I'm looking into, invite a few of the investigators in the local area and a few of my friends and get them up there early, maybe the Vogels, if I can squeeze them out of their area, you know what I mean? So yeah, Charm and Fair Farm, bro, where we got to actually meet and really put everything away, and we had fun, and it was a blast, wasn't it, dude?
It was great. It was rainy and crappy, but it was fun. It was a good time.
It fit our personalities. We're all nuts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Kelly Porter says he's in, so that's good. So yeah, bring your tents, bring your overnight gear, whatever. Even if, like I said, if you want to come down for a couple hours, I mean, I hope I'm not sleeping there alone. That's kind of nerve-wracking. You know what I mean?
If you're behind a shack there.
Are you bringing the fam up this year?
Usually that's the plan. The plan is to get the cabin the week before, and then, like I said, we'll probably extend it on the front end of it, and then I'll go over there on Thursday and stay where I want to camp. I've been wanting to do that because when we were there, if you recall, I did 3 knocks and we had a big tree push right by 9 investigators, and I'm talking about the Vogels, Mike Trainer, like seasoned veterans that I, only could imagine that I get to do an investigation with, never mind actually getting to do one and then having an experience happen. And we have that tree push on recording. It has 3 snaps. It has the push, snap, landing, push, snap, landing.
Wow.
So yeah, you can hear it, man. It's pretty awesome. So, but before I fly out of here, because I wanted to pop in and say hi, and Animal was always up to something. You got to watch this dude, man. I'm over here I'm doing pallet walls downstairs. I built a master bedroom in my basement area. It's all complete, but I'm doing pallet walls. So I'm like, and I'm on this really cool new medicine. Anyway, so I'm like, zip, 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 zip. I'm very focused. Let's say it's keeping my ADD in check, right? Not really. Anyways, and Animal's like, ding. Hey, I got an idea. You want to say hi to Mr. Tinsley? Okay, that's my Animal impression, by the way. So yeah, that's cool. So no, super excited for that, and you know, we're gonna have a great time at the Chama Fair Farm. But I wanted to congratulate you and Matt on an amazing documentary. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and of course, it even brought up some things because I recognized the footage.
Wasn't Mr. B on there, Richie B on there? Because I saw kind of
yeah, I popped in and out, but I was all in the background. It was perfect because I was actually in the background of the Henniker thing.
Nobody, it's before we even met. We just knew each other kind of like this.
Oh yeah, and we were like, yep, I got him. Eagles in the nest. Yeah, nest. Whoever the hell you are, I don't even know you, but the eagle is in the nest, sir. I'll play along. I will play along with anybody. I don't give a shit. You know, could have been one of my ex-wives playing a trick on me. I'm like, yep, in.
I'll tell you though. Yeah, actually, it's great to kind of talk about it, but that was probably the most adrenaline rush that I've had throughout this whole thing. Was dropping what I was doing and rushing off to cut off the BFRO on an investigation.
Yes.
Wow.
And shit flew, and it came at us hard, and I think that's what kind of got you and I at odds because it was just chaotic. And
miscommunication came up real fast.
In hindsight, because we didn't really, like I said, we didn't know each other other than just these conversations. So at the same time, you'll see kind of what happened in episode 2. I don't want to give too much away, but but part of the story is before I even met Richie, I had some connections that I'd already made, and those were pretty good connections. And now all that was in jeopardy too because of what was going on and who was what. And so,
one thing.
Yep. So then it kind of set us on our own path for a little bit. We met back up at Charming Fair, and once we really got to know each other, we started laughing, all having fun. It was kind of cool. And I think from that's the point on when we realized this is going to be a turning point in this for us. Well, I'm not here to blow anybody's spot up and be cynical, and that's why I kept bringing up the cynical and skepticism, is because I was so cynical myself that I didn't want to be so cynical that I was being spiteful and going to be an asshole and talk shit about people just to blow it up because so that was part of my journey, is really understanding that this is something that I feel passionate about, helping put back together and building something cool like we had talked about. And I think that's where we're at. We talked a little bit about on your podcast the other night. New Hampshire and New England and the Bigfoot community was kind of a void. The BFRO members were kind of low key. The guys up in Maine kind of did their own thing. It was probably more famous for Alex Petikoff and then Lauren Coleman with the museum, who I've got to meet both of those guys since then. And other than that, it was just kind of low key. When we started meeting people on the Facebook group, people were like, yeah, we're so happy there's something going on. Met Richie, same thing with him, and people down in Mass, the Bridgewater Triangle had so many stories to tell, and we have an energy, I think, and behind the scenes, we have a lot of energy where things just kind of start falling into place once we start getting together, planning. I couldn't imagine, I just wanted to make a documentary, and I made, a bunch of them with Penford Media, and it was kind of over and done with for me. Like, I already kind of accomplished what I set to do, was make a few documentaries. But once I decided to get in, and like I said, the adrenaline rush from Henniker just being part of that, just drove the rest of it. And to see how passionate everybody else was, like you, Rich, your energy is ridiculous. And it's contagious. It really is. So
I love it.
With these events coming up next year, I think we're going to bring a lot of fun to the community, the Bigfoot community. And I'm so blessed and excited.
It's gonna be trouble at the Critter Fest. I'm gonna be down there. I can't wait.
Are you all right? Wait,
Critter Fest is gonna be wild, man.
Oh, dude.
And I'm gonna talk with the Vogels too now too, about us kind of like, talking with each other, because they're 2 weeks apart from each other. They're 2 weeks apart from each other, and with with that type of setup, we have the opportunity to go. The one thing that Mike didn't mention, he did, but not in that sentence there that he was talking. we're like-minded. Mike is New Hampshire through and through. Loves his state, loves his people in there. You know what I mean? And I watched him get protective of his area that time. You know what I mean? And that was one thing I could relate with. And I'm not a gatekeeper, and I don't feel Mike's a gatekeeper either. I'm not going to speak for him, but I mean, I think I know him pretty well at this point. Yeah. And the main goal was to put New England on the map, to say, hey, stop flying off to go see things elsewhere. We have them right here, literally in my backyard. And I've said that 1,000 times. It's a true story. It's just the way it is. I'm not here because I watched TV and was like, one day I'm going to go out there and look for the sucker. He must be out there somewhere. It wasn't like that. It was like, what the hell's that? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on out there? That's what it was. It wasn't anything I did. But the point is, put New England on the map, show some respect to the area over here. Yeah. And all the hard work that we put into it, and the different variations of Bigfooting and research. And, you got Gene Tewksbury in Maine, who, is a big cat researcher, but also very, very astute when it comes to Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And a researcher, though, a real legitimate research.
And that's where the crossover is, I think.
I love it. Yeah. But more of a researcher than I'll be. She's really researching shit.
She's going to be in episode 2, by the way.
Oh, is she?
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it, man.
She's also going to be part of a big project that we have for this New England area that you guys will hear about soon, right, Mr. Tinsley?
Oh, yeah.
She agreed to that. So we have a big New England project coming out within the next 6 months or so that you guys are all going to hear about. And it's going to be very big, and it's going to be all of these really cool researchers coming together for the common goal. And that's the research and the respect of this creature. And the preservation of this creature's area. I don't even call him a creature. I think he's a primitive human. That's me. But this primitive humans area, you know what I mean? Well, just shut him up. Mike's quiet. What are you talking about? Mike's been quiet for like 3 minutes. I know it. It's hard with that Mike and me in one screen.
The music's on, man. You know what that means?
Is the music on? Really? Already?
Do you hear it?
That's it. No.
You don't hear it?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Why do you get off right at 9? What do you got to go? Was someone you got to go to bed?
I got to put the kids to bed.
So right at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
you're very disciplined.
I have to be. You got to be. You got to be disciplined.
I mean, Tinsley's on. You can't put him to bed at 9:07 and just tell him, Mike Tinsley's on, kids. Wait a minute. I need an extra 7 minutes with him.
Speaking about all this cool stuff, I'm waiting on the day that I'm going to be invited to Richie B's podcast show.
Oh,
I'm just waiting on that day. To get an invite. I always invite to my show. I'm waiting for it to invite me.
I'm pretty sure I don't need to invite you. You've invited yourself plenty of times, Mr. Animal.
That's true.
He's like, hey, you got an extra. I'm gonna come on at the last 15 minutes. Is that good?
I'm talking about a full hour. I want a full hour.
Well, tell me one of those Saturdays that you're gonna skip again, and then you can just be my guest and not do your show that night.
Oh, I'll have to look at my schedule.
Yeah. I don't care. You do it anytime, open invite. Come on now. Stop that nonsense. And get your ass up here, by the way. You're a New England boy, and you need to start acting like one, okay? You're part of this New England stuff. You need to get in on this. He's from Rhode Island, bro.
Well, you can help cover cover what we're doing for the Florida transplants. Because like I said, I got friends down there. I got family down there. Maybe we can catch up later, but I got some reports, or at least that Dogman report that I was talking about. If you know anybody that wants to look into it, I'm not down there, so
there's a lot of Dogman reports down here.
Oh yeah, nothing like seeing him out in old Ocala Forest there with his flip flop and wetsuit on, right? He's got his oxygen on.
Yesterday, I was diving yesterday. I was scuba diving yesterday.
Where you at, Dogman? Here I come. Scuba Steve coming in hot.
I'm gonna plop in with my flippers down the street and go like Darth fucking Vader. Falling down forward because the tank's so fucking heavy.
Oh, that'd be great. Get that on footage. Now that's a video I'd want to see. 100%. Well, thanks for having me, Mr. Tinsley. I'll let you say your goodbye without my ugly face up here. This is your time, your spotlight. I appreciate you. You got 6 minutes left. It's 9:01. Hurry up. The kid's going to go to bed. Bye, Tinsley.
See you, man. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, man. That was fun. It's always having a hoot with Mr. Richie B.
Well, that's
Great
it.
guy.
I think that's what him and I have talked about endlessly, and we've been trying to spread it with our more immediate circles. But yeah, working together, right? Telling these stories, getting together as creators too, right? Not only just the cryptid side of it, but you're a podcaster, Rich is a podcaster. And I'm doing this stuff, which I wasn't sure that I was even going to get into it just like this, but it's working out, and I kind of like what we're doing, and it's building a community. Not only getting out there to talk to people that are having these encounters, but going to the events and meeting people. One of the coolest things I've had happen to me so far. I know you're trying to get out of here, but for me in this journey, I was at one of Ronnie LeBlanc's library events, and when it was done, I was going to go up and talk to him, and somebody came up to me to have a selfie taken with me, and it was really cool. And it's when I realized that I'm kind of on the right track of kind of helping people tell their stories and provide content and all that stuff for them. And it was a member of our group. We're a group-based, with New Hampshire Bigfoot Society, we're a group-based community, private group. But we have, you're in there, other researchers, content creators, and we're just trying to bring it together. And that's what Richie and I talked about. We're still working on other groups too, and other people trying to just come together. We'll do events, do content, do cool stuff, because it's all for the good of Bigfoot and just the mystery, right? The fun stuff. Get outside, and
it's all a mystery, man. It's before we go, why don't we tell little people where they can find you, Facebook, YouTube, and your documentary, and also promote your next episode coming up.
All right, yeah, Chaos Theater Productions on YouTube. You can find me mostly. I'm on Facebook. I'm an old school guy, old Gen Xer. So I am on Instagram and TikTok. If you find me, I might get to you. I don't post much there, but definitely on Facebook, because it's community and group based. So that's where I do a lot of my work and communication. Other than that, season episode 2 is coming out. We're gonna talk about what happened after Henniker, and we're gonna go to Portland International Cryptozoology Conference. Talk to Lauren Coleman, talk to Alex Petikoff, a couple other guys, learn and go deep. And as Richie said, Jean Tewksbury is going to be in there too. She's a big cat researcher. Her ghost cats. We talked to her a little bit. So
I message her a lot. We talk a lot about the Florida Panthers down here.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of good stuff we talk about. Yeah, she's an amazing person. I was really happy to finally get her on our show. She's a couple issues every time we had a scheduling, and it just she finally figure it out. So thanks to Richie B helping us out. But yeah, man, thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely.
It's been so much fun, and I'm enjoying talking, and we're gonna talk for maybe a minute or two once we get off the air. But thank you so much. Thank you everybody that's been watching.
Thanks for having me.
Expedition Files, and thank you for everybody who's been supporting the show. Can't do it without you guys. I love doing this, and like I said, I couldn't do it without you guys supporting this channel, and we love you. And also we also are sponsored with Squatch Juice, so check out Squatch Juice. It's a amazing supplement. It's not a supplement, it's more of an energy drink, but it's a very healthy energy drink. You want to check them out, go on Squatch Juice on the Facebook page and check them out. But yeah, we're gonna head out to well, no, it's not Saturday. So, damn it, I'm going too fast. It's Wednesday. But I will be back live this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and have some fun with Para with the Normal. They will be here next, so you don't want to miss out on that. Those crazy cats. So yeah, thank you, Mike, again, and we're gonna go and push this video here, and we're gonna head out, and we'll talk a little bit. So peace, everybody. Hope everybody have a good night, and see you Saturday.
Lights on.